Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything city past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of city stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Right, welcome to episode 2 as we look at issue number 2 of the new City Digital magazine that's free for everybody. Yeah, you don't have to be a City Plus member or anything like that. It's free for everyone if you go on to the mancity.com, the City website, of course. A digital magazine, the October 21 edition. So the September one wasn't bad. We had a quick look through that, didn't we? So we're going to have a look through the October one that promises weeks of reading. I wouldn't say I wouldn't go that far, City, but yeah, I know what you're trying to say. It does look like a good read, though, looking at all the introduction, the contents, etc. And we've got Mr. Ruben Dance doing "We Want You" sort of thing. The old. I can't remember the guy now. Was it World War One? I'm not that old, but I wasn't Chamberlain, was it? I don't know. No, it wasn't Chamberlain. It was someone else. I think. We Want You, and obviously following on recently from the Pep slight criticism, although I'm not sure whether it was a criticism of the fans. It was interesting, wasn't it? Obviously, with that sort of image on the front of the programme, but perhaps it's subliminal. I'm not too sure on that one. Anyway, so there we got Mr. Great image though, Ruben Diaz, that on the front. Right, there we go. Yes, we do open this magazine. As you scroll down, or if you're on your watch, it's easier to sort of read a bit on my laptop and I read a bit on my phone. It's a bit, it's okay to read. It's quite well presented, which is not like City, is it? With our technology, technophobe guys, they seem to cause a lot of trouble. But I think it's quite easy to read, quite interesting. And it does look like a good read on first impressions, and it isn't bad, I'll tell you that now. And they do open with the contract extender, of course, Mr. Ruben Diaz, with his thoughts. And he's looked back to his first year in Manchester and obviously touches upon the COVID situation, etc. Reflections on Premier League football to what he was compared to. No mention of his ex-girlfriend, I believe, but I think this was probably in the bag a little bit before all that happened. But there you go. That would have been perhaps a little bit more of an interesting article, wouldn't it? But we don't get that sort of in-depth thing, do we, on these programs? So it's all very happy-clappy, isn't it, usually? So, yeah, but it would have been interesting to have his thoughts, perhaps. But hey, it's personal, isn't it? Perhaps he needs time to get over it. But say no mention of that anyway. I don't think so, unless I missed it. I did scour through it. I didn't see anything. Andy Morrison has his usual look forward to City's upcoming games. Obviously, 5 games. He covers 5 games. He's got us down as winning 2 and drawing 3. So there you go. I mean, I'd take that. I'd be happy with a winning 3 or 4 and drawing 1 or drawing 2. But I'll leave it to you to sort of understand which games he's talking about, because obviously he looks at the Southampton game, the Wycombe game, of course, the Chelsea, PSG and Liverpool game. So win 2 and drawn 3. That's Mr. Morrison's thoughts. Anyway, I'll let you decide which ones are the wins and which ones are the draws. So there you go. I'll be happy. If we don't lose it, I would be absolutely stunned if we don't lose at least one of those games, to be honest with you. And if we don't, fantastic. But I'm optimistic, but yes, Mr. Morrison's been very happy, clappy, and glass half full for definite. And then an interesting one, it moves on to the top 6 chants. Apparently, we've been singing at the ETIHAD and away grounds so far this season, and I don't disagree with it. Actually, there's plenty of other little chants we've been singing, but obviously they talk about the I'm Eric Laporte, that one. Inika Moses' 1994 hit "Here Comes a Hot Stepper." There you go. Yeah, so I don't disagree with that one. Obviously, we've got the Gabby Jesus one, which is literally, I was doing the wrong one then, wasn't it? Not Gabriel Jesus. Or Jesus, but they say Jesus, don't they? It's just how it is. So that's based on Lord Creator's hit Kingston Town, apparently. But we're certainly learning something from this one. Edison, of course, obviously costing 30 million. That was obviously honouring She's Electric. We all know that one. Jackie Grealish, the quite boring one from Villa, which is all right, Super Jack. But yeah, I prefer the other one that's been doing the rounds about beats 10 men or something. But obviously that's not caught on yet. I've seen it in little pockets and stuff. But I do like that one. We need to get that one going, guys. Let's get that other Jack Grealish one going. It's quite good, that one. I like that one. And of course, Bernardo, obviously from Voulez-Vous from ABBA, is obviously still doing the rounds. Although we do have a problem, don't we, when we get to we're all going to. I mean, I'm singing St. Petersburg. It's hard to fit into the line, but some people are still singing Madrid. Some people are still singing Istanbul. It's a bit chaotic out there, Blues. I mean, it's St. Petersburg, so you've got to try and fit St. Petersburg in, guys, or just put Petersburg. I don't know, whatever. But let's get sorted. Let's get it sorted. So there you go. That's the top 6. Unusual article, but it's nice to know where these original songs come from and what year and who did them, I suppose. Uwe Rosler, yeah, he's a regular contributor, gives his thoughts on the season so far. An interesting little touch on, of course, Tommy Doyle's been loaned out, hasn't he, to Hamburg, one of the only away grounds I've been to, Hamburg in Europe. I've only ever been there in the Millennium to watch TNS. That's literally my European ventures, unfortunately. I've never really had the money to do it, to be honest with you, even when I have been quite well. When I've been quite well off, we weren't in Europe, and obviously when we have been in Europe, I've had other priorities, unfortunately. But there you go. So yeah, he talks about Tommy Doyle's stuff with Hamburg. And obviously talks about his doing his TV work now, Uwe Rosler, because his Dusseldorf stuff expired, his contract there, so he's now doing a lot of TV work as well, which he's enjoying. So that's always nice. It's always nice to read Uwe Rosler's article. Neil Lee finds out about Liam Delap. A nice little interview with Liam Delap and some information about his contract extension, his achievements, and of course what he wants from the future. I think we all want him on that bench a bit more than he's getting, although I think he's been a bit ill, or has he had COVID or injured? I'm not too sure. That's probably why he's not been featuring recently for the EDS teams, etc. But anyway, that's a nice little thing with Liam Delap. George Kelsey, no real interest to me. This takes a look at the Fantasy Premier League. I did do it a couple of years ago, but we've got a bit bored, to be honest. I found my time was better used doing other things. So, but George Kelsey, if you like the Fantasy Premier League, looks at who the prices and who's been added to squads and who's sort of doing the business for that sort of thing. So that's interesting if you're into that. Darren Huckabee, nice to reflect on his career, and he takes a look at City's attacking options, and obviously without a dedicated number 9. It's interesting to read Darren Huckabee's views on the false nines and how the strikers and wingers, etc., are mixing in with this Pep system. So that was a good read. A nice feature on teenager Oscar Bob. Yeah, Oscar Bob. It's like he's Norwegian. Yeah, I didn't realise he was Norwegian. Obviously, I've had a laugh about his name many times over the last couple of years. But yeah, and he did comment about not scoring, but I did see him score a goal against Leipzig. This in the UEFA youth thing. He scored a penalty, didn't he? I'm not sure if he scored another one as well, but he definitely scored a penalty. I saw that. But yeah, it's just about, obviously, being Norwegian, he's missing it with the COVID, etc. And again, be many of these young lads who've come over from the different countries missing their family. So there's a little piece on that as well within the interview. But that's very good on Oscar Bob. So that's well worth a watch. There's plenty of women's stuff in it. 5 women playing are asked. 5 women players are asked what they have on their music playlist. So we get from Wet, which is a bit nostalgic, a bit old school, to WizKid. I have no idea who WizKid are. I'm sure that's the group, or I don't know who they call groups these days. I don't know, but I think it's a name. I'm sure it's not the title of the song, so we get from wet to WizKid, all the W's, but I have no idea who WizKid are, and I'm no real ambition to go out and find out either. A look at the backroom staff features Chris Williams, I think, who's involved with the women goalkeepers, so again more a woman leaning to that. But I don't mind in small doors. I'm not a big. I hope the women do well. I'm not. I say I don't think there's enough hours in the day to be actively involved watching the women and worrying about the women. I worry about the men too much. I don't want to get depressed when the women get beat as well, which it's not going very well from at the moment, is it? So I do hope they do well, but I try not to get too involved. But it's okay too, because obviously things like that with Chris Williams, it's all the background and what they do behind the scenes. So it's quite interesting. There's a feature on the Summer Olympian, of course, Elliot Roebuck. It didn't finish fantastically for her, of course, but she looks back on, for her anyway, an unforgettable summer. So that's a nice little piece. Celebrity Blue features a City fan as a kid, but of course became a big Arsenal fan, as he would do because he played for him. But obviously it looks at Lee Dixon, who still professes his love for City has never dimmed. Well, I've never got that feeling from him, to be honest with you, and I'm sure in interviews 15 years ago, he never sort of was gushing about City. But it's amazing how these fans, etc., all of a sudden, or ex-players, some of them sort of crawled a little bit. I'm not going to name names, but some of them have crawled a little bit out of the woodwork and professed their love for City. I mean, there's a couple of big ones, but I'm not going to upset anyone by naming them, but who were very quiet on City and obviously big about other teams. But obviously until City's recent success, we didn't really hear that much positivity from them about City, even though they did claim to have a lead in. So, yeah, interesting with lead. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I say it's unusual. Professes his love for City has never dimmed. Sorry, mate, I don't quite believe you. A great Q&A with Mark Riley, of course. He does some great ones, and he does Chris Stevie this week. Fantastic. Frank interviews he doesn't interview Chris Stevie, my apologies. He's into, obviously, Chris Stevie's son, Sterling Stevie, of course. Chris Stevie was, of course, Frank's side bottom. Absolutely wonderful man, superb. So entertaining. I still love his City Main Road medley. His little City medley he's done with his drums at me. I've watched that many times. It does make me laugh, especially the Frank Clark bit. That was probably the funniest. I still laugh out loud when I watch it now, to be honest with you. But yeah, of course, Mark Riley interviews Sterling Stevie, a lifelong Blue himself, which is fantastic. He went to his first game in 1987. I think my lads was about the same time. He was definitely going in 1988. He could have gone to some in 87 as well. And this is my favourite article in this particular edition of the Manchester City digital programme, to be honest with you. So that's a great interview. If you're gonna read just one thing, just read that. That's brilliant. Kevin Cummings, of course, looks forward to the Paris trip, with the trip to PSG coming up, with some favourite memories, of course, of Paris. Of course, in images and in words as well. The best 11 picks a best 11 from loan players. That's an interesting one. You've got from Mark Vivian Foe to Daly and Atkinson and everything in between. So some you'd expect, some big names, but some not quite so big names that perhaps you don't expect. But that's an interesting best 11 from loan players. I mean, you could do a best 11 from super subs, couldn't you, and stuff like that. But I suppose they'll do that sort of thing as the thing progresses. Caroline Oatway looks at what makes Ellen White tick on and off the pitch. I think there's something to do with music on that as well. Is it something they ask the women footballers about, the music lead-ins at I'm sure they do with the guys as well. But so if you like Ellen White, want to learn a little bit more information on her, that's great as well for if you're into that sort of thing. And the last word in this new digital programme is left with Nedum Anua. Yeah, Nedum Anua, who obviously has his own little podcast, does he? But what he does, he gives you five. He gives you 5 of his favourite podcasts. Yes, including his own. Hey, if you can't big yourself up, what chance have you got? Is his own podcast, obviously on his favourite 5 podcasts. I suppose, like me, my favourite YouTube channels. I'd probably be one of them as well. But because I quite enjoy doing them, and sometimes I'll even watch them back and enjoy watching them back. But that's how it is. So yeah, the final word from Nedum Anua. To be honest with you, there's one. I think of the 5. I knew I was aware of 2 of them. I think a Radio 5 one, which I wouldn't particularly listen to. And obviously his own, which I know about. Well, the other 3 I'd never heard of. But as I say, there's not enough hours in the day to listen to all these things. And I much prefer to listen to City-dedicated podcasts and YouTube broadcasts, to be honest with you. But that was interesting. We might give you an idea there's something else to listen to as well. So there you go. So plenty to read, and you can dip in and out of it. The articles probably take between 3 and 5 minutes to read, so you don't have to. You can read them on your phone. As I said, it's just as easy as your laptop, and just at while you're waiting for 5 or 10 minutes at the dentist, perhaps, or something like that. I think it's all right. It's all right. I prefer the hard copy, of course I would, but hey, it's all right for what it is. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if there's anything you sort of caught up on if you've read it, and of course I'll see you all back again for the November 2021 issue, where Mr. Morrison will be really sad, because obviously that 1-2 drawn 3 thing will win 5, won't we? So he's going to be slightly shown up, isn't he, when he comes to his predictions for November? But fingers crossed. I'm hoping at least in the minimum he's right with what he said anyway. But as I say, anything else is a bonus. But as I say, I'll be very, very surprised if there's not 1 or 2 L's in that 5-game mission that we're on. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching, guys. Whatever you're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Citizen channel. Perhaps have a flit across, please. Have a look at my film and TV channel. I'll try and inform and entertain on there as well. Until we do meet again, I only ask one simple thing of you and your friends and families. Please stay safe, everyone. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.